I'm an out and out Chennai girl,
Okay.
born and brought up in Chennai. Parents, family, everybody is in Chennai, in-laws. My studies was done in St. Michael's Academy, Chennai. Did my graduation from Ethiraj and my management from LIBA, Loyal Institute of Business Admin, and I specialized in human resources. And ever since, my field of play has been HR. Been in a variety of companies, now with Accenture for the last 13 years.
Yes.
And I'm the Director, Talent Strategy and Human Capital and Diversity for India as a geography. So that's what I do for a living.
Okay.
And on a little bit of my personal side, married, my husband works for another very large MNC in HR as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're an HR family.
Okay.
I have two sisters, one who's a returning mother at this point herself,
Okay.
and my youngest sister who's working as a tax consultant in another audit firm. Parents, they're professors and highly inspirational role models for me in my journey. So that's me.
Super. So same two Chennai girls are talking now to the community. That's good. So whistle board.
Yes,
right. Whistle board, right? So that's good. Okay, fine. So Dhanya, we just got connected in maybe just end of the last year. We just got connected, but then we know, and you just come forward to help us personally as well as the community-wise so long, right? So that's the beauty of that, where even the latest Accenture invite, you just call and say, you are coming, right? So that's the beauty of it. So I do see, and I also see there are a lot of engagement you do the outside Accenture, be it as an NGO, be it as a women community, just go forward. So I also heard about the inspiration from family. So tell us about it. It's just not the HR you are just handling. You are also doing so many other activity, and working in Accenture is just not that a 9-to-5 job. We do know about it, and you are traveling always, and then meetings and everything. How do you manage it?
Well, I think, I'm quite lucky in the sense that I get to do a job that I absolutely love. So part of my responsibilities outside of the broader talent strategy and the HR realm is specifically towards inclusion and diversity.
Mm-hmm.
And, Accenture has this huge ambition of becoming the most inclusive and diverse organization in the world, right? And for us, again, diversity is not just one type of diversity. It's not just gender, but it's much, much broader, including people with disabilities, the LGBT community, cross-cultural diversity, parents. I mean, you just name it. Any difference that somebody represents, then the person needs to feel completely included in the workplace and respected, because there's this core belief that only when every single person is together as one organization, as one family with a sense of belonging, can true innovation really come through, right? Okay. So I just have the honor of doing a little bit to help bring that ambition to life. And again, by virtue of that, I get to meet people from all walks of life.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Budding entrepreneurs, people who are on a break wanting to come back, people from each of the diverse communities who are facing their own challenges and are really, looking for someone to just create that space for them to shine, right? I really think that that's what drives me. That's what drives me. And I know there is lots more that I could do. But yes, that's the journey I want.
So this is a similar, I think, Accenture exhibits every time when I speak to the Accenture, because being into the US with your head office and same connect, people are talking 20, 25, you're looking for the gender to be at equal, and people are with the same passion, innovation everywhere. Thank you for sharing that.
No, that's absolutely true, because again, one is the philosophy of the organization, but the other is the hard commitment that goes behind it, right? So you're spot on. Our leadership, which is Pierre Nantem, our CEO, Ellen Shook, our CHRO, as well as everyone at the GMC, are deeply committed towards making sure that Accenture reaches 50-50 by the year 25. That is 50% gender mix across the organization that we are by the year 2025. And this at a point in time when there is sufficient external research and articles that one keeps reading and looking, which says 50-50 might be even more a distant dream.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there's several research. I think I read something that said it might take even more than 100 years for us to gain equality. But no, I think at Accenture, we believe that we must make it happen, and much sooner, and in a much more shorter time frame. So that's definitely a space that.
So that's a boon for our community as well to hear that, where this dream of Accenture is also going to enable our journey to just make it simpler to connect to the corporate and take it forward. And apart from Accenture, we do just see this corporate themselves are woken up now for this bringing the women back to work. So that fits into the agenda now. People sees it as a talent which is a gold mine hidden, and they need to uncover in order to make it's not only the corporate, it's a general ecosystem which is going to bring a win-win for the ecosystem prospers, society prospers, and the corporate prospers everywhere.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I think the collective conscience of leaders across industries, across countries, right, I think everybody's realized that for us to fully maximize the human potential, then we need an equal workplace. I think that realization has come through. So you're right. Pretty much every progressive organization is now today saying, what can I do? How do we make our workplace more committed towards gender diversity? And yes, specifically to your point about bringing women back into the workforce, right? I mean, it's a known issue that women across the world tend to drop off their career journey, especially when they get into the caregiving mode.
Absolutely.
Right? Caregiving mode for their children, caregiving mode for their elderly at home. Because whether we like it or not, women tend to be the primary caregivers. And all this when, the woman who has studied so much, has so much dreams and aspirations, and has really worked hard to reach some point in her career, but suddenly this pull factor from her family life is now forcing her to give everything up. Right. And, trust me when I say this, many women happily give it up.
Yes.
Right? They happily give it up because they want to be there for their family, for their children, and for their parents. But then there comes a moment when they feel like they fulfill some part of that, that personal happiness in that space. And then they want to say, okay, now what do I do broader? And they do want to come back. And contrast this with organizations which have already lost these brilliant women and are now saying, hello, these are people who have demonstrated their ability to contribute to organizations, but what are we now doing with them?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So the work that your organization is doing, her second innings, is phenomenal in that sense, because what you are attempting is creating a common platform to bring together our women, highly talented in their own right, and highly aspirational in their own right, to come together on a particular platform, and then connecting them with organizations to see how the matchmaking could really be done. And to me, trust me, this is far more critical than the matrimonial services that many organizations run, because you are doing incredible work in the sense that when I deeply believe in this, that when a woman in the family has a certain independence, her financial independence, her independence of thought, it's not just her family that progresses. It's not just her generation to come that progresses, but she actually lifts the whole society together, right? So I am very, very inspired by the work that you do.
Thank you. Thank you, Dhanya. This is the credible leaders where they are endorsing and then taking us itself as a journey for us to just take us forward. Thank you so much. I also know that there is an inspirational women in your journey also just gives you the pointers for us. People can do it. All they need to do is the attitude of we can do it, right? So tell us something, who are that inspirational women in your life who are just giving you the motivation all the time?
So actually, on a day-to-day basis, I get inspired by just hearing stories of many of our Rajeshwaran. Incredible journey. coming from a family where girl children weren't expected to be educated. So she fought her way to finish her, PU, as they used to call it those days.
Okay.
Got married at the age of 19 and went on to study. She finished her BA, BEd, MA, MEd, and then she, took a break.
Okay.
She was a professor, but she took a break for her children. So we had 3 children, right? And what ended up happening was her break was almost 15 years.
Okay.
Because she didn't have the luxury of childcare support.
Okay.
But what she did during that period was incredible. I mean, the number of skills she might have learned and the number of things that she tried her hand at. So she tried her hand at running a business. So she did printing for a while.
Wow.
Then she set up a beauty parlor. Then she, so she was trying to find options where she can be gainfully engaged, even while she's at home with the children, right? And these were fairly successful businesses in their own right.
Right.
And then it reached a point where she was ready to go back. And during this period, technology was all taking over. So she did her diploma in computer science. She figured out how to use the laptops, and she finished her MPhil even during all this period.
Okay.
So when she was actually ready to go back, she was ready to go back at a higher level, back to her teaching profession. And today, as we speak, she's completed her PhD.
Wow.
And her research is in the space of teaching English as second language.
Okay.
So the number of students that whose lives she touches is just amazing. And when you think of this, right? I mean, she could have easily said, "Chuck it. I can't do this."
Absolutely.
Right? Because I've personally seen the hardships she's gone through. Yes, she had an incredibly supportive husband. Thirst for learning. Completing PhD when you're 65 is something, I'm telling you.
Yes.
It's just amazing. It's I'm just privileged.
Absolutely,
to,
right? To have that 65, they're able to do that. That shows the thirst and the hunger.
Yes.
Still they have
To excel.
They excel, right?
Yes.
So that's amazing. Thank you. That's a good learning for us also to know that age doesn't matter and break doesn't matter.
Nothing
All
matters.
you have is I can, I will.
I can and I will.
I will.
Absolutely.
That's great. Okay. So with that, I was also talking about our community to figure it out. What else we can just bring from you, right? So there are predominantly 2 things. One, being a woman who have taken a break, they wanted to know if they apply to Accenture, what is that you think a woman should possess? Could be a technical, non-technical, it doesn't matter because the organization opens up every position. Would you be able to share a little insights about that?
Sure. So good news, we have the Career Reboot program where we work with partners like you and many others in terms of seeing how we can bring women who have taken a career break back into the workforce, right? So good news, option exists.
Yes.
Having said that, I also want to acknowledge that for somebody with a break to come back, it needs a whole different mindset, right? And a whole different set of skills that you would come with. And some things that have shifted in the past is, and I've seen many times earlier, people used to feel uncomfortable talking about their break.
Yes.
But today, it matters that you talk about your break with confidence.
Yes.
Right. And when you talk about your break with confidence, you're able to say, okay, I had some skills before I went on my break. Here's what I've done with some of my skills while I was on my break. And here's my proof to say that I'm still very relevant.
Yes.
So I might have been on a 3-year break, 4-year break. It doesn't matter. The years really don't matter. But when my resume is shared with an organization, and it doesn't have to be Accenture, it can be any organization, right? That resume should be compelling enough for somebody to say, yes, I need to speak to this candidate.
Absolutely.
Right? So that means the latest certifications, some proof points to say that you have not let your past skills rust.
Yes, it's just not the certification. Even some of the projects, as you're
Yes.
rightly saying, the apps can be
Yeah, so
developed
today, I mean, kids develop apps.
Yes.
So why can't we, right?
Yes, yes.
And that can be done on your own personal time. But something to say that you understand the market, something to say that you understand where the technology is moving.
Right.
And therefore, your resume, because remember, before somebody meets you, they're going to see your resume.
True.
So your resume has to represent who you are, inclusive of your break, and the relevance that you're able to still demonstrate despite your break.
True.
Right? So that's critical. Second is communicating with confidence. So, organizations such as yours actually ensure that people get into the interview stage.
Right.
But when you get to that stage, how you communicate, how you tell your story, how you tell it with confidence, right? And how you're able to convince the person who's interviewing you, it can be a man, it can be anybody, but how do you convince the person that you have it in you?
Absolutely.
To be able to do it, right? And how do you make sure that the break is a value add to you and not something that's like I was on a break and sort of a thing, right?
Yes.
It makes a huge difference. The women who bounce back sooner are the ones whose skills are cutting edge, who are still relevant and are able to demonstrate that relevance, and who communicate with confidence. Right? So to me, this is absolutely critical. Now, for all of these three to be happening during your break, you can't afford to be unidimensional about what you do. So yes, I recognize that the break has been for very pressing family reasons or otherwise. But even during that time, how are you widening your horizons?
True.
What are you reading? What programs are you watching? What are you attending to? What books? How are you just updating yourself and your knowledge to not just get stuck at a certain point when you left the workplace, but to how you will re-enter, right? And I think networking, making connections, and I must say that even me as a woman, I do resist networking in its traditional sense. So if you ask me to go to an event where 1,000 people will be there, I might be like, okay, what do? I mean, I don't even know people there.
Right.
But I think I have learned over many years that you have to push yourself to go and connect.
Absolutely.
And connect on your own terms. You don't have to do what works for somebody else, as long as you connect.
Absolutely.
Right? Figure out what works for you, but connect. Stay connected. Get back. Because it's like this. You've got dropped off at a certain stage, and you have to re-enter at a certain stage. There is this gap. So how do you bridge that gap? It's people who will help you bridge that gap. Right? And how do you network? And the more skills you build, the more people you meet, the
more opportunity for us to just get restarted, right? So that's the beauty of it. So while we are talking to Dhanya, feel free to just raise your queries on the question forum to do that. Also, we coming up with the mentoring workshops, as well as there is a Women's Day. We are bringing the Global Mentor Walk. Feel free to get connected. Just come out of your horizon. It's just not the Her Second Innings. Look for any organization, anywhere, right? All you need to do, LinkedIn is another source.
Oh, absolutely.
So whoever you find, say hi to them, and with the expectation you will get a no. Right? Not everybody is going to say yes, but it is absolutely okay. But it is our duty to widen our network. If they say no, don't just stop there. If one is not saying yes, it doesn't matter for us to stop. Connect with another. They might be saying yes to us. Keep doing it and build your network. And with that, I will also...
so just one on, when you speak about network, right? I don't know if the audience has heard about Vahini Network.
Okay.
So Vahini is Accenture's external network.
Okay.
Which means that it not only has our own Accenture women who are registered on it, but we very intentionally made it an open network for all professional women in India, right? Because it came from the belief that if women support each other, then chances are you're going to make it faster to wherever you want to go to, right? So I will strongly encourage each one of you to register on Vahini. So you just have to search for Vahini Accenture and you will find it. Also, we've launched an app, the Vahini app, which can be downloaded from either your Play Store if you're on an Android phone, or from your iStore if you're on your iPhone, right? But yes, I think it allows you to understand what is going on, connect, listen to the latest technologies that's happening, what sort of industry changes are going on, etc. But I think you're right. You have to find out the different avenues by which you will stay connected.
Yes, that's more important. The more you get connected, the opportunities keep opening. There's one query, let's do that. Hi Dhanya, I have registered with Accenture Reboot program for women. I have attended an interview and cleared one round, but still I'm yet to get any confirmation. I heard that there is some inside issue with selecting women who's having baby. Is it true?
The commitment that Accenture has made to achieve 50% gender mix by the year 2025 ensures that as an organization, we are very aligned towards women.
Right.
And we understand that women, as well as men, have families, have babies. And this is like saying if a man has a baby, will you not hire, right? No. So no, absolutely not. I think it's not even a thought I will encourage you to even think about it. Because, all of us... Okay, so let me first say this. Accenture having a baby, not an issue. And let me just say that right up front.
Okay.
So for those of you who know, we were the first in the industry to launch a 6-month maternity leave policy.
Absolutely.
In addition to a 3-month additional time off, that you could take, because we understand that the mother wants to be with her baby for an extended time. We're also probably one of the organizations which has the largest childcare support network with our extended partners, and as we speak, easily 170 centers across the country are available right now. We wouldn't be doing all this if we had an issue hiring women. So no, I will not want you to think like that at all. We're deeply committed to equality.
Sure.
Right? Having said that, this question represents the classic negative voices that we sometimes tend to hear. As human beings, when you're down and out, when you're going through a bad phase, right? Many voices come to them, right? So
predominance gets picked up, which is demotivating us at that time. Agree.
And a thought like this, just that, maybe because it's not going to happen because I have a baby, is a voice that will pull down your own confidence.
True.
So don't even allow such voices or such people who might be telling you such things.
Right.
Don't even encourage that. Don't encourage that. I mean, we have so many women leaders who are so successful having children. Right? There's no reason for anyone to feel like this. Right? So that's all I had to say on that one.
Awesome, right? So thank you for asking that. There's one more query also have just come. Let's see what it is. I had got a call from someone at Accenture. All she did was ask me what was my notice period, and that's all. There wasn't any information about what the requirement was, what the requirement was, and what the role was. There was no communication thereafter. I really didn't understand.
So I get it, right? But however, I won't be able to comment on an individual case because we really don't
know what
was the context or the background behind it. So I don't know how to react to that.
Probably I can pitch in for you just to do that. Okay. So as we are just looking at that, when we are getting back to the work, making sure when the people have to call, probably it's our duty also to ask in detail when somebody calls, right? Ask for it. What are you asking? What are you looking for? Just to validate that part of it. That's the number one. And number two, if someone is saying even XYZ, I am looking for this job role and I'm looking for your CV to match with that. As we keep talking about in the other session, even Dhanya was talking about our confidence part of it. If we know our skills are relevant up to the date what we are talking about, and we have that confidence, we don't need to your communication would have just made her to just come back and talk to us. That is where our platform, her second innings platform, is giving you the ways of assessing your talent and be confident on that part of it. So there are assessment links. Just pick it up and then go ahead on that part of it. And as I said, if one door opens, good. Doesn't open, even more it's good. We'll still keep opening about it. Right? Thank you. So there's one more thing. I had in fact called back and I had missed the call. Okay, fair enough. So fine. So we will just figure it out whether how we can just help you connect with us. If possible, we will also just help you. As a partner, we should be able to figure it out. How do we just get the things done? All right? Okay, fair enough. So Vahini Network, it was an amazing story where you created that, started, and then today there is a 1 lakh plus women members outside the Accenture is also part of that.
So one correction, I didn't create it.
Okay.
It was one of those beautiful things I inherited.
Okay.
Where so 2005 was when it was created the first time,
okay.
and 2009 it was taken externally.
Okay.
And my journey with it has been in making sure that it reaches a broader set of people, and we're doing far more impactful things. So I can't take credit for starting.
Awesome. No problem. So thanks. Because I was just seeing as a convener, you just created that kind of impact, which really people are talking about it, what's happening on the Vahini part of it. So there is one more question. Okay. I was contacted by Accenture, had 2 technical interviews, got selected.
So can I offer something?
Yeah.
I'm seeing some things which are very process oriented.
Okay.
What will be helpful is maybe, if you can
connect one probably with them as well as the correct relevant team.
Absolutely.
I can just do that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So
because unfortunately I won't be able to respond to a specific processing because I won't have enough background to it.
Makes sense. So all these queries, we will just take it up and then come back with that part of it. But there is one generic query is just coming up at Dhanya. Is a career reboot program is different from Vahini program that you are saying about?
Yes. So there are many programs at Accenture. Okay. So the way we've designed it is across the career life cycle. So if you're a new joiner, if you're a new mom, if you're a new promote, so different stages of your career life cycle, we have different programs.
Okay.
So Vahini is our network.
Okay.
So it is an employee resource group or a women's network, which becomes a place where you can come, meet like-minded women, connect, learn new things, take inspiration from stories that get posted, share your own story if you have, if you have a powerful one to talk about, etc. So Vahini is a network platform, right? Career Reboot is a program that allows for us to hire women who have been on a break.
Oh, okay.
So they're very different. So likewise, another program that we have is what we call as intentionality of careers.
Okay.
And this is of course available to our Accenture women at this point in time. But the whole idea is the way women approach careers is different from the way a man approaches the career, right?
Right.
So you're doing your graduation. You think, okay, let me finish my graduation, then I will see. Then you are doing your post-graduation because there's still a couple of years for you. And then you say, okay, I finished my post-graduation. Parents are looking for an alliance. But in the meantime, can I, go join a organization? And you're probably thinking that, okay, 2 years, I'll work here. Then I will see where my married life takes me. Then I will figure it out, right? Sure enough, after 2 years, you have to relocate because of your husband. Then you go and, you either get a transfer, you join another organization. And then you're on this mode of starting your family, you take a break. So you're already thinking of your career as short sprints.
Yes.
Versus a guy who might be graduating out of the same college, and he'll be thinking, okay, so I'm going to study this. I want to do this kind of a job. I'm going to probably, have this kind of a long-term career. By this years of experience, I want to be in this particular position. He's thinking about it very differently. And because he's thinking about it that way, and I'm not saying that many women don't think about it, right? I'm a classic example of thinking about it like that. So I'm not here to say that, women don't think about it like that. But my point is, when you start thinking about your career as a long term, then you're very intentional about what you're doing.
Okay.
So you build mentors, you build your support systems. I've heard women come back and say, I actually built great relationships with my mother-in-law and my mother because I know that they will support me when I'm through my family journey. Right. But that's intentionality, being very intentional about where you want to be in your career, even as you are fulfilling all your personal aspirations.
True.
Because life is never binary.
Absolutely.
Right? So you want to have a full life. But I think that's the part about making sure how we actually help our women, especially our young women, understand the need for that intentionality, the need for building their support systems, the need for building mentors. Because, when you're on a break, it's your mentor who will actually hold your hand. Now, when you're on a break, you can't go and build a mentor.
True. Yes.
You
yes.
should have done
You
it much
should
ahead, right?
ahead.
And that's what we encourage our women to think about.
Okay.
So we have another program called Returning Mothers, which is the moment one of our women employees says she's going on maternity leave, we align her to a maternity coach,
Okay.
which is another senior woman in the organization who's been through maternity herself. But she becomes like, the person who holds the hand of this individual. And, when the person comes back from the break, helping them resettle, finding them roles, etc. So there are many such programs. So Vahini is our network, and there are many such programs.
There are different groups to just
That's
take
right.
it. That's fine. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. And sorry, team, where we had a little break during our conversation where we were just doing about that. And as Dhanya has just connected with us, any of the queries, we would be happy to just check and then come back to you in case of anything, no worries. So that is the beauty of we are just becoming a bridge to help you out for any of the queries. So any queries beyond this, I would like to just push you into our separate groups where we can just take it forward and then do about it. And as we keep saying about it, honing your skill and becoming relevant in the market is a key critical. And one of the ways to do that is looking at what is happening in the industry and then upgrade yourself. That's a first thing which you should be doing about that. And second, the network. Keep connecting with the people. And as I keep saying that, people sometimes will say, no, it doesn't matter to us. We need to just build the network and then keep moving forward, because our intention in life is we need to be financially independent. If we have to be independent, we need to open the door or create the door. Both the things we should be able to do that. So thanks for joining and thanks for just being with us.
No, my pleasure.
Sorry for the disturbance what we have just gone through.
No. I think I completely understand that. I'm just delighted that I could be here. And if there are any follow-up questions that you want me to help answer, I'll be more than happy to. Specifically on the process-related, we'll see how
we will just come back and then take it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.